Have you ever stopped to think about how everything will end? It's a question that has fascinated us for centuries. That's why so many people chase after prophecies, ancient texts from figures like Nostradamus, looking for clues about wars, famines, or the arrival of some king of terror. But what if I told you that the greatest threat, the most inevitable of all, isn't hidden in some dusty book, but is right there, shining in our faces every single day? And that our planet's final destiny has already been mapped out, not by a prophet, but by the very laws of physics? So you can tear up those prophecy books. The truth about our end is written in the stars, and the star in question is our sun. And the craziest part? Its plan to end us will begin much earlier than you think. In this video, we're going to understand the cosmic countdown for Earth, a silent and relentless process that, in a rather sinister way, has already begun. Science knows how and when it will happen, and the script is far more dramatic than any prediction. Today, we look at the sun and see a great buddy, and rightfully so. It's the engine of our existence, the energy source that drives everything. It feeds plants, warms the planet, and allows us to have rivers, forests, and, well, our very own lives. Earth orbits at a perfect distance in what's called the habitable zone, where water can remain liquid. It's the golden condition for life as we know it. Our sun is a middle-aged star at 4.6 billion years old. It's in its most peaceful phase, called the main sequence, transforming hydrogen into helium in its core. It's a perfect cosmic dance. Gravity tries to crush the star inward, while the energy from nuclear fusion pushes everything outward. It's this balance that gave time for life on Earth not only to appear, but to evolve over billions of years. It seems like a guardian, a faithful friend. The problem is that every star ages, and it's precisely the aging of our friend that will seal our fate. This is where the story starts to get uncomfortable. And this happens long before that explosive finale everyone imagines. The first act of the solar apocalypse won't be an explosion, but a slow and deadly heat. The fusion process in the sun isn't 100% constant. As hydrogen turns into helium, the sun's core becomes denser and hotter. To stay balanced, the sun needs to accelerate this fusion. The result? Every billion years, the sun's brightness increases by about 10%. 10% doesn't seem like much, right? But for Earth's delicate climate, it's game over. Scientists calculate that we have, at most, another billion years before things get really ugly. Long before the sun becomes a red monster, this extra brightness will create an uncontrolled greenhouse effect here. The additional heat will make our oceans boil, evaporating at a crazy rate. All that vapor in the atmosphere will trap more and more heat, and Earth will enter a spiral of heating with no return. The surface temperature will skyrocket, easily passing 212 degrees Fahrenheit. The oceans will boil until not a drop remains, leaving behind a global, sterile salt desert. Life, as we know it, will be extinct. Our blue planet full of life will transform into a copy of Venus, a dry and uninhabitable hell. And the most bizarre thing is that this happens in just a billion years, meaning 4 billion years before the sun's official end. This is the death that comes first, the one that gives this video its name. While prophecies speak of sudden events, physics shows us a slow end, cooking us little by little. If the first act of our end is being cooked on low heat, the second act is a cosmic fireworks show, and we'll be in the front row. In about 5 billion years, the hydrogen in the sun's core will run out. The fusion there in the center will stop, and that billion-year balance will go to space. Gravity will win the fight for an instant, and the helium core will collapse on itself, becoming absurdly hot and dense. All this heat in the core will set fire to the remaining hydrogen around it, and this new energy source, now completely out of control, will make the sun swell a lot. It will transform into a red giant, hundreds of times larger than it is today. Despite its surface becoming a bit cooler and reddish, its size will be monstrous in our sky. Mercury will be swallowed without ceremony. Venus? Next on the list, and Earth will be right there, facing this terrifying spectacle. Our exact fate is still debated. Some think we'll simply be vaporized by the solar atmosphere. Other scientists suggest that as the sun loses mass when swelling, its gravity will decrease, and Earth's orbit might move away a little bit, escaping being swallowed by a hair. But don't be fooled. This wouldn't be a happy ending. Even if we escape the sun's embrace, we'll be so close that the planet will be completely sterilized. The rocky surface will melt, transforming our world into a ball of lava. Any sign that we once existed will be erased. Only the burned metallic core of a planet that once had life would remain. Mars, a bit farther away, might survive, but completely transformed. This red giant phase, as violent as it may be, lasts only a few 100 million years. After burning all the helium, the sun doesn't have enough mass to start fusing heavier elements. The star will become unstable, will pulse, and in its final gasps, will eject its outer layers into space. All this material will form one of the most beautiful and melancholic things in the universe, a planetary nebula. These are the entrails of a dying star, glowing in fantastic colors. And in the middle of this cloud of gas and dust, what will remain of our sun? Only its crushed and hot core, a white dwarf. Think of a stellar ember with our sun's mass, but squeezed into Earth's size. It won't generate more energy, it will just cool down. Slowly, over trillions of years, until it becomes a black dwarf, cold and invisible in the darkness. The planets that survive, like Jupiter and Saturn, will continue orbiting this stellar corpse in a dark, cold, and unrecognizable solar system. So, in the end, we don't need Nostradamus to know how the world ends. The true prophecy lies in the laws of the universe, which we can observe in any star in the sky. The sun's life cycle is the most powerful force we'll have to deal with, even if it's on a timescale our minds can barely process. Of course, threats like asteroids or the climate changes we cause are problems for today that demand our attention now. But in the grand scheme of things, the star that gave us life will also be our final executioner. And you can't negotiate with physics. But this story isn't just about the end. It's about our place in the universe and about the incredibly short and precious window of time that life had to happen. It's a reminder of how fragile and special all of this is. So, what do you think of this inevitable future? Do you think humanity will manage to find a way to escape to other stars before the house falls down? Leave your opinion here in the comments. And if you enjoyed this cosmic journey, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss the next adventures through the galaxies.